They say this is one of the flattest circuits out there in racing. A track off of a former airfield that has proven time and again that on the national level of British motor racing that it stands as a difference maker, a different style of track compared to all the others that go before it. This is a circuit which has seen time and again many key places where overtakes get made. And with the new introduction of the 300 layout, the 3-kilometer circuit, it is now, or 3-mile circuit, I should say, this is the place to go get your national racing fix. It's your RTA FF1600 Championship, round 3 of 8. And we are here at Snetterton, live on the Global SimRacing Channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to sim racing fans around the world to this, a really enthralling 3 races that we'll have here tonight. My name is Jake Sperry, and alongside me in the booth is Craig King. Daniel Costello will be on the cameras, directing them all around, and those cameras were created by Dougie Beard. Now to Snetterton. The tree just behind us right now, the Wilson tree, is not there anymore, but lives time immemorial. It has seen so much great sim racing action, and it will see our GSRC track guide and what are the pitfalls around this incredible track.
Welcome to Snetterton Circuit. Like many British tracks that were born shortly after World War II, this venue was made out of an old military airfield. It's a mere 30 minutes drive from Norwich and offers up 3 different layouts of varying lengths. This means the track is easily able to host international, regional, and club-level racing. Previously rather simple, the circuit's most recent update in 2011 introduced a twisty infield section. Still, it's mainly punctuated by 2 very long straights, the Senna Straight, where the pits are located, and the Bentley Straight, which acts as the backstretch. As you'd expect for a track born out of an airfield, there's little in the way of elevation change. However, the one spot in which you do find some undulation, it really stands out. The bomb hole dips cars down in the middle of a quick right-hand kink, causing them to have to keep a heads up lest they lose the car. The track is not without character though. Riches is very swift for a first turn and includes 2 distinct apexes. There's also the combination of Brundle and Nelson, which forces drivers to turn hard while braking. Never an easy combination to manage. The long sweeping run through Coram down into Murray's can also be quite tricky. The car will want to drift out, forcing a shallow entry into the final left-hander. But failing to give yourself a good exit will leave you vulnerable to attack down the pit straight. Perhaps not as famous as some other British circuits, this place is a bit of a hidden gem in the UK motorsport scene. Fans who get to witness racing here certainly seem likely to return.
So Snetterton proves once again that it is a circuit where the changes that it brings certainly holds its weight. It used to be a flick on the 200 layout from Wilson, which used to be Montreal, over through that long Bentley Straight. But Craig, you look at this track, the middle sector offers a key difference to a circuit which has some really unique corners to it.
Yeah, Jake, Snetterton's a great example of how to improve an old track by adding a modern flavour to it. 12 turns, 2.969 miles, so that's why they call it a 300 layout, updated in 2010-2011 to produce a challenging, complex layout while keeping the fast straights that the track was known for in the past. So in the last 2 rounds, we talked about the elevation changes. There's none tonight, as you were saying at the start. Sans that dip in the bomb hole, which takes that fast-sweeping final sector, makes it a tricky braking zone for these Formula Fords. So the drivers will have to be careful at Montreal now. It's a tough late apex hairpin, and it leads to the quote-unquote new section of the track. And in that spiral-like section, where one mistake at Augustini will kill all your momentum as you head down into Hamilton and Oggies. You get to the back section, Brundle into Nelson is always a challenge due to the raised curves, and that is something these cars will have to avoid. And you get to that final high-speed area. Those Formula 4s will have to take care controlling the throttle pedal. Too much speed will throw the cars off wide into the grass, and in practice, we have seen cars spinning around. Now it's a wide track now, the widest track they have seen so far this season, and there's a lot of runoff on the exit of these corners. So expect to see a lot of side-to-side battling, and momentum will be crucial. Jake, this track to me feels like it is an underrated track in the UK. I love this track for its flow. And aside from the Nordschleife, I can't think of any other track where the corners have the names right beside them on the track.
No, that is very true. There is a slight pitch from up to down. It's slightly downhill on the run in towards Brundle Corner, you can see right now. But let's take a talk at how the championship looks. We've had 2 different winners over the first 6 races, each of which has been able to score the maximum amount of points. One of them's in first, the other one is in 7th. Remember, there is 1 drop round in this series. Keith Dempsey leads Peter Dempsey by 20 points. So the Dempseys are flying, but Jason Cooper currently houses that 3rd position. Sean McClements has that 4th place ahead of a tie for 5th place. Rory O'Shea and Bruno Walraven proving their worth overall. Jason Smith, with his 3 victories in the back pocket, will be looking to try and mastermind a way through and continue to find those points and charge them up, with Sean McGoldrick currently in 8th. Tony Stack lines up in 9th in the championship, and Lawrence de Sosa's consistent form has got him inside the top 10, holding on desperately to that 10th place. But Craig, talk us through what these drivers will have to deal with here tonight, because this is the sort of understanding that, okay, yes, it's 3 races in a row, but each race is different.
Each race is going to be different. We have the 15-minute first heat, which is decided by the qualifying that is happening right now. And when that happens, that grid will set out for race 2, the sprint race, the more exciting sprint race compared to some other Formula races the last few days. 10 minutes where the top 8 get reversed for the final race. The feature, 20 minutes around here, and it is going to be tough. Those sprint races have been exciting to see. As you see as well, drive-through penalty at 15x. You can see that happen here, and it has happened in the series, and a disqualification at 20. Jake, 3 is the magic number. It's the 300 layout. We've had 2 drivers win 3 of 3 on a night, and it's round 3. So something tells me that 2 drivers is going to be 3 drivers completing a clean sweep after tonight.
And what's 3 times 3? 9. Number 99 up at the top of the timing stands at this moment. There are your air and track temperatures, the wind gusting about as it traditionally does here in Norfolk. I'm about 2 miles away from this circuit. It is a beautiful track. 36 degrees C, 20 degrees air temperature, or 96 Fahrenheit for the American viewers. This is, I would say, ideal conditions out there in terms of where everyone needs to be. Big lockup, as we noticed through. But look at how talented that top 3 is. Jordan Kelly, Hunter McElrea, Jason Smith. And I want to highlight McElrea here, Craig, because here is a driver who just this weekend was racing in Indy Next.
Yeah, what a drive. I did watch a little bit of Indy Next, and it's a fantastic little series and another underrated track, I may say, at Barber. It's a weekend of underrated tracks, and you start to see that you can transfer not just the sim racing skills to real life, you can transfer the real life skills to sim racing. I'll give a good example when it comes to this. I remember Adam Christo, Nürburgring winner. He came onto the sim and he said, everything about the sim is just how I know it, apart from I had to increase the graphic option so I could see the right braking markers I use. That is what some of these drivers that are used to this will be seeing tonight. And we do have some drivers that have driven these cars in the real world. And I wouldn't be surprised if you asked them, some of these drivers have driven this fantastic track in the real world.
Yeah, this is one of the circuits where you can pretty much find a grassroots series, go out there and race. The long Coram corner then, flying around the right, always looking to try and carry as much speed as possible, stay as narrow to that section of track, open up Murray's as much as you can. Look how much curb Hunter McElrea uses here as he finds his final 30 seconds, heat qualifying. So this is his last attempt over the line. It's a 57.8. It will not improve the lap time going forward. A couple drivers then will be looking to try and improve. One of them will be there. Whoa! That's a way to end a qualifying session out there overall, just flipping through. David Yamamoto with a great qualifying effort out there as well. But this should do it for qualifying. Everyone then should have an order as Jamal Gandor will be the last one over the line then and set a 59.4 over the line with that effort. So this is how they're going to stack up. Jordan Kelly will be on the pole position with a 57.478. We'll have Jason Cooper along for the ride, who stole that second with a 57.590. It will then be Hunter McElroy and Jason Smith on row 2. Peter Dempsey will be in 5th and Bruno Walraven in 6th position. David Yamamoto starts 7th with Keith Dempsey 8th, Ocean Puhaka and Chris Knox on row 5.
As we quickly go to the rest of the field as they start gridding up, Sean McClement will be 11th, Peter McCann 12th, Barrow Hodgson 13th, Tony Stack will be 14th, and then 15th will be Lawrence de Souza. Rory O'Shea will be 16th with Isaac Canto next to him. Jamal Gando will be 18th, and Chan Wai Fing will be 19th. Ronan Hederman will take 20th. We do have another page, but they are getting ready to grid up. As we just start to see that, you just see Sean McGoldrick, Brandon McConaughey, Ben Cloudley, Andrew Murphy, 8 John Donald, Ian May, David Collier, Gary Cochran, and Johnny McMullen will finish up this 29-car grid.
They will, and that's a lesson for me to not leave my my mic on muted. But as they grid up, the 2 minutes that they have for the opening heat, the likes of what they've got coming along, the 2 races that'll be next, they will have to be alert to it. They will know as well that it is a fast start to this race with the rags to riches opening corner that often you seem to find here. Jordan Kelly on the front, green flag in the air. How good will his launch be compared to everyone else? It's pretty single file. Big crossing of the beam for second. Jason Smith gets boxed in and will put Peter Dempsey into play. They will charge then towards the opening corner. Kelly safe from Jason Cooper off of the start, but as they charge on through, third on back, Smith has made a power move up to third. McElroy fourth. Walraven now looking for the inside here for that 4th place. And big lock-ups there as they head to Wilson.
And we've got a spinner out in the backfield as Chris Knox makes up 3 places at the start of this race. And there is a few cars just going around. I believe that might have been, it was Ozzy Pahaka. Ozzy having a bit of a moment at the start of the race. A couple 3 wides to start the race. More drivers going a little bit wide. Chris Knox, I tell you what, he must have had a really bad start to the race. He's already up to 7th. He was hunting down Bruno Walraven for that next spot.
Yeah, he was, and now he can continue on in that vein as they will now run through the Oggie's corner. Now, coming up next after they traverse Hamilton, they do. Now here is Oggie's, and Oggie's is a very unique corner because you think that the corner ends just immediately. No, it goes on further and further and further and pretty much bleeds into Williams like a radiator.
Yeah, and then you come down the Bentley straight we were talking about. It's quite a long straight for these cars at the speed, and you'll start to see the likes of Cooper. Can he make a move? Can Smith make a move here? They're going to stay together. If they hit into Brundles, they're going to hold tight together here. Is there any moves around the back of the field? There isn't at the moment, and that is that corner. That is Nelson I was talking about. Look how much speed you've got to scrub just to get that going. Who's going to make the move here? And it looks like Keith Dempsey is going to get by.
There was 1 car off the road, and that wasn't going to be good for David Yamamoto, who has really dropped a massive amount of positions. He has flown backwards through the field as he goes through. Keith Dempsey back there in 10th place, not where you want to be if you are Mr. Championship leader. Goes to show you that form week on week is going to fluctuate a lot when it comes to this series. Not everyone is going to have everything that is all secure. Top 8 clear at the moment. Here comes Keith Dempsey looking to the inside at Rich's corner and comfortably dispatches of Peter McCann, who can, or not McCann, because it's Keith Dempsey who finds the move.
Yeah, Keith Dempsey using a better exit of Murray's to try and get the advantage there. And I thought McCann may have tried a little bit of an over-under there through Montreal, decides against it, but the battles are still heating up at the front of this field. We've had 3 minutes already. It's crazy. We've had 3 minutes and we're already into lap 2. Is Jason Smith going to make this move here as they go down into Ogonowski? And he does a little tap there. And the problem is now, I was talking about that momentum. Jason Cooper now has Hunter McElroy behind, but that is so tight when you hit Hamilton. There's not a lot of space to make a move.
Agostini is a really difficult corner. We've seen it. Big lunge up the inside. That's not a traditional place for a move to be made. And Jason Cooper is starting to exercise his right to say, I will try every which way to choose my places wisely. Now the long Bentley straight comes along again. Who's going to decide when's the right time to make a move in towards that Brundle corner? Now, it's all right getting side by side here through Brundle. The key, though, is going to be as the track narrows off of the airstrip onto the effectively service roads they have going around this section. Who's going to have enough speed to go through that section to clear and make the move?
Well, Hunter McElroy, he decided that it's not worth the move. They're lifted before they got to Brundle. And unfortunately, that put Peter Dempsey right in the firing line as Dempsey almost caps the back there of McElroy. Managing to keep that out, but lose some momentum there. That allows McElroy to just keep ahead. But look at this. Look at the top two. Kelly Smith. They're starting to pull away from Jason Cooper. If you're Hunter right now, you're thinking, I've got to get by ASAP.
Yeah, you're going to have to start making moves while the sun shines because these laps will tick off very, very quickly. Bruno Walraven there in 8th position has eyes on Sean McClements, who's just got through and moved up into that 7th place. So there is that. They've also got the 2 seconds to Keith Dempsey, who's trying to recover away back through the field. They are going to be very alert to how they go about their business because they will know that some of the quicker drivers in this field are waiting for their chances. Jason Smith is not one of those such drivers on the brakes. Big narrow line in Agostini trying to attack off the exit here, and we take a look from the roll hoop. This is the most traditional view to see any open wheel Formula car. Look at how much that Jordan Kelly is trying to get that car loose through the corners.
Yeah, trying to slide it in. Some of these drivers were sliding these cars around in practice, and it does show that they've managed to work out the lines and just the throw angle needed. Look at that, using all the runoff possible. Still can't catch up here. And a lot of these drivers, they're starting to see that you get to the end of the Bentley straight, it's not worth the hassle. They're not going to try and go for a move. Look at them all bunched up. This works in favor of Cooper and McElroy, though. Peter Dempsey starting to catch up as well. A little clip of the grass there. And again, you touch that inside curb there at Nelson, just forget about it because you'll be losing position before you even get to the bomb hole.
You certainly will. Oh, and Jason Smith grabs the curb slightly through that section of track, heading through towards that Coram corner. It is so easy just to take a little bit too much curb around this place. And you've got those massive sausage curbs on the inside of 2 corners here. One of them, of course, is through at Nelson's corner. The other one is at Murray's. And both of them are a big no-no for the inside. Nose to tail then as they go through. Peter Dempsey with the fastest lap of the race. But it is the top 5 who are all there, all being patient right now. They know still time left. 8 minutes to go and figure it out. As there for 4th. It's going to get big contact for the race lead as well. Jason Smith into the back of Jordan Kelly. Hunter McElroy side-by-side interlocked wheels with Jason Cooper.
And look at that awareness. McElroy realized that right away that they were almost interlocking tires. Managed to give the space needed, the respect going again. That's a big lockup and another big lockup, and that's held everybody up as Jason Smith makes a mistake. And now look at the back four of this top 5. They're in a little battle just because of that one mistake.
It's so easy to make that happen. Pushing through the corner, and off goes the likes of Hunter McElroy, having to be so trepidatious. Dempsey on the outside still can't secure the move. We'll have to try and get it done here at Williams, but that's not going to happen. Here comes the up and under to make it work. And all of a sudden, you breathe the wrong way for one corner, and goodbye, 1 second. Here comes the side-by-side.
Cooper's going to make it 3. Call it 3 wide at the 300. 3's the magic number. Who's going to be the last one to blink? They're side by side, and around the outside goes Peter Dempsey with a fantastic move. McElroy backed out of that. He knows there's better battles to go later on in this night because this only is the first race of 3. Get a good position here. We'll set you up for the next 2 races. Smart there from McElroy, but Peter Dempsey just going absolute manic there. He does have the Lewis Hamilton helmet on, and that to me was classic Lewis Hamilton-esque.
He is a manic street preacher at this moment in time. He is finding what he needs, but here comes the look again. A look then to the inside as this is going to be easy for Jason Cooper. At turn 1 gets it done, but the up and under, not going to find the room to make that happen. Big kick and tail. Going to have to defend now on the inside, but look out to the outside. Wakey, wakey, Mr. Dempsey. Hunter McElroy has seen this one time and again, and will go to the outside. Now is trying to figure out what he wants to do to go through and find himself with as much chance as possible. We have, through all of that, got to know that Keith Dempsey has dropped back to 14th place. So something's happened to him out on track because he was up as high as 9th. The answer was he spun it on his own, going through. Bye-bye, Peter Dempsey.
Oh, that is not good. It's not been good for Peter Dempsey here tonight. Let's just have a quick... You'll start to see, here's a little bit of free wide up ahead, and you just start to see clipping the grass. Grab it here, just a lonely little spin as they come through, and that looks to me like too much speed through Brundle.
Yep, too much speed. Grabbing a little bit of grass on the entry would have unsettled the Ray FF1600, and just like that, it's going to be a case of spin it around. For Peter Dempsey, not ideal either out there, but it is 1.5 seconds at the front of this field for Jordan Kelly. This is 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th just behind Jason Smith. Not Peter Dempsey anymore, because it's Jason Cooper, Hunter McElroy, and you got to knock on wood, because technically it's a 5-star teammate. It is Chris Knox, but there is David Yamamoto. Look at this scrap out of Nelson's corner. We are, of course, in Nelson's County.
Yeah, Nelson County, and free wide they go. Don't think Nelson would be liking a bit of free wide, but are you not entertained? As you start to see, that is Hederman making a very nice move. They go side by side here. That's fantastic. They can't do it. McGoldrick's going to lose the momentum battle here. Yamamoto may get a run here, but that little slipstream is going to help McGoldrick here. He has to try around the outside. I just got to say, we've seen McElroy do it. They're not going to go free wide. We got to crash though.
Huge junkyard here at Wilson's corner, and it continues on because it has grabbed more drivers there. Sean McClement caught up in it. Big drama, as it is Smith and Cooper who come together and have completely blown this race apart at the front.
Oh, there was a little bit of issue there, but you can just see Smith try to go around the outside, and I think he just tapped it a little bit too much. Tangles up there. McElroy got tangled up as well. I think another car spun around. That was McClements getting spun around. The person who gets away the least with that is McElroy. Yes, he's 9 seconds away from the lead, but he holds on to a P4 while everybody else he was battling to, and another spin there has just happened. So it's all going on with the last 4 minutes left in the race.
Yamamoto caught up in that, and all of a sudden, look who jumps up to the likes of P8, Barra Hodson. Oh, that's a massive accident! Oh my word!
Is that a nose cone I see off there? You do not see anything like that. That is absolute carnage in the backfield as the leaders start to go through. I say the leaders, but you got Jordan Kelly 6 seconds ahead of everybody. The rest of the field trying to battle on here. Chris Knox on his own. McElroy trying to make a move. So Dempsey trying to make a move here on McElroy. This is very tight as they come around Coram Corner.
Gonna have to set up the up and under here at Murray's. It was Jamal Gandor who was caught up in the incident. That's why he's in trouble. But look at that. A dive into the pits there for a driver. That driver right now, trying to work out who it is Jason Smith. Because get this, he's on 15 incident points. Do you know who else is on 15 incident points right now? Hunter McElroy.
Do you know who else? Jason Cooper, Hunter McElroy, Jason Smith, Peter Dempsey. All of them have black flags for incidents. I've never seen one incident provide that many black flags. But here we are, and that is going to be absolutely killer for those drivers. They're going to have to fight to try and get the reverse hello out of the light slide there from Dempsey. They're going to have to hope they can get a really good position in the reverse after the second race.
The thing is, if they don't serve that penalty, it will just be applied post-race, and they'll drop down the order that way to the tune of about 35 seconds. McCann, Hodgson, all there. Keith Dempsey trying to get on the back of this too. So every place matters. And there is Ossian Puhaka now trying to find a way through. Big malfunction at the junction there for Ben McCluffrey, who is there, who sees Jason Smith on the inside. And you probably don't want to tangle with someone who is probably raging inside that helmet with the amount of instant points that are there. Chris Knox, by the way, started 10th, is second.
You've got to be in the right place at the right time. And Chris Knox, he has put that car where he wanted. Remember, he had that blinder of a start at the start of the race. Had to go 3 wide into Riches, 3 wide into Palmer. And he's doing fantastic. Look at that. You know you're a man that wants to flaunt it when you've got your name on your helmet. And right now, he is flaunting that ability. The white flag will wave. I wonder, does McElroy, does Dempsey, do either of them come in right now?
Well, question is, will they have the clean air after they pitted or not? There is your race leader, Jordan Kelly, 7.3 seconds down the road. Everybody else around has fallen into troubles. One driver hasn't, and it's him out there at this stage. Now, we do have drivers in the pits serving those penalties, as here is Lawrence de Sosua trying to go through. Both McElroy and Peter Dempsey came in to serve stops, so they're both there. De Sosua, all of a sudden, racing for 8th place, almost gets tagged from behind by Sean McClements trying to recover. Tony Stack in the 7-up car is trying to get into play here, running through Palmer.
He's doing what he can. McClements as well, just waiting for the opportunity. You know that these drivers are probably going to make a small mistake, and if they do, he's going to jump on it. These are important positions because points meet prizes, and Peter McCann's had a spin as well, and that's going to hold them both up here.
From 4th place, McCann in the number 4 car finds himself at turn 4 in trouble, facing the wrong way. Just spun it all on his own. No contact help at all from Keith Dempsey, who now finds himself all of a sudden in 4th place. There is Ossian Puhaka back in 15th, trying to find something late on in this one. But these drivers know they're going to be running out of time, because here comes Jordan Kelly through the long, winding Coram corner soon after the bomb hole was traversed just like that. Now through the long Coram corner. This is where Jordan Kelly knows that those drivers behind decided they wanted to race with each other, let their egos define themselves in race 1. No such for Jordan Kelly. It's a comfortable victory as he will drive to the line and take race 1 by miles.
He will take race 1 by miles, and there are still battles going on. Keith Dempsey's going to hold on to that P5 of Barra Hodgson, but behind them, Tony Stack is going to hold off to Swozer. Can McClements make a move here? It's going to be a sprint to the line, but welcome to the train. It's a stack train. He stacks them up, and they will finish in those positions of 7, 8, and 9. McCann will hold on. What about those drivers that had to do a little fight at the end? Peter Dempsey loses out on a couple positions himself, but also, can Jason Smith hold off Ozzy? He can indeed. And unfortunately, I think that is going to be all they wrote. And some of these drivers who had to take some black flags, they've got a lot of work to do.
They will have a lot of work to do. That's how quickly a race like this can be in trouble. Let's keep an eye out on how the top 10 finished off in this race. So Jordan Kelly picked up the victory in 15 minutes and 50 seconds, winning by 8.6 over Chris Knox, with Bruno Walraven and Keith Dempsey 3rd and 4th. Barra Hodgson would end up 5th, with Tony Stack in 6th, following Lawrence de Sosua, Sean McClements, Peter McCann spinning on the last lap, and Sean McGoldrick rounding out then the top 10 in that field. Snetterton providing fireworks, and it's because most of these corners are the style of corner that you look at here, Craig, and go, yeah, that's probably an easy corner. I can comfortably drive this track through as a hot lap, as a pace on my own. You bring a car onto the inside, all of a sudden you're going to have to behave, and this circuit makes drivers behave.
Yeah, you have to have a lot of trust and a lot of awareness when you come around these corners. They're wide corners. Like I said, these drivers haven't seen that so far in this series. Of course, they would have seen it on other tracks on the simulator, so they would be used to it. However, with corners like this, it is a corner that you have to learn multiple lines so you're ready for that experience of somebody just putting in that little extra bit and putting their nose in that makes you go, oh, I'm not ready for this, because you have to be ready. And these cars, once they start sliding, you're going to be a little bit careful.
Yep, you're going to have to be. Now they grid up then for race 2 out there overall. Now, this is important because it is just a 10-minute race. Top 8 at the end of this one gets reversed, but talk contrasting fortunes. Track a little bit colder from where it was, but Jordan Kelly, Chris Knox, Bruno Walraven, all there. Keith Dempsey, you would say, a gainer out of what's going on, but you got Peter Dempsey, Hunter McElroy, Ossian Puhaka, Jason Cooper, and Rory O'Shea outside the top 10 looking in. This is big for race number 2. Who is going to wake up and say, I want in when it comes to the racing right now? The uphill launch is there, and here is the light. Green flag in the air. Let's get ourselves underway. Chris Knox with a shocker off the line, the Lego car. But it was more like a Lego house. He couldn't get going at the start, and all of a sudden, Walraven's there. Keith Dempsey trying to thread the needle as they go through round the outside. Tries Chris Knox to hold for that second place, but he goes spearing off the circuit, and a big accident in the middle of the field. Stack gets him all wrong, and everyone gets caught up.
Everyone getting caught up. I'm not sure who had damage. McElroy's got massive damage. There's more colliding as they come through into Montreal. And we've got a park up on the track. What is going on out there?
Answer is toughness. This is a really tough circuit, and they don't give it the credit that they need. Lots of drivers in trouble, and more because McCann's off the road there in the 4, trying desperately to get back on circuit, and will manage it there in the background. Keith Dempsey in 3rd. Front of the field's probably been the most safe place to be at all of this. But all of a sudden, you start thinking about, well, who has survived? Who has found a way through? It's all about survival of the opening lap, and that certainly seemed to be the case. Keith Dempsey currently in 3rd position, and is now going to be looking at Bruno Walraven in 2nd to try and chase down Jordan Kelly, by the way, already to 1.3 seconds down the road.
Jake, 11. We have 27 people grid up. We have 11 drivers with meatball flags. I've never seen anything like that before. Keith Dempsey tries to go around the outside of Chris Knox for Brundle, and then Chris Knox decides around the outside of Nelson.
Yeah, that is beautiful from Chris Knox. He manages to take the place. Suddenly Lawrence de Sosa wants in on the action, and it very much is for Keith Dempsey. Keep yourself out of trouble. Drivers will try and be aggressive, and when drivers are there, when drivers are in trouble on the opening lap of the race, it is about those drivers around who think, I can pick up the points, and they become more aggressive. Those drivers in the mid-pack, GSRC replay of the start. It was hectic everywhere. It starts in about 6th position. It starts with the 7-up car of Tony Stack.
I think you heat the words Tony Stack, and you can use the puns of stacking it up. But look at that. Nowhere anyone can go. Such is the nature of a restart here. And then as that happened, more cars were like, oh my God, a car just going absolutely flying. One mistake there, a car. That was McElroy. Did not have a lot of power on that back wheel, so could not brake in time, hit the back of another car, and that just caused a lot of issues. As we go live, we've got more cars going off.
Yes, Bruno Walraven from 2nd position, spinning it around at Palmer corner. Everyone takes Palmer for granted. It's a transfer corner, but you can see even in the background as drivers push wide, Bruno Walraven finds out what makes it difficult. All of a sudden, it's Keith Dempsey now in 2nd. It is Chris Knox who finds himself in 3rd. McClement's currently in 4th. There is Lawrence de Sosa in 5th. The Irish YouTuber who is really, really good in terms of his sage advice for what is sim racing and how to get better at sim racing, what gear to get in sim racing. I think he's got a very level head, and he's been a very level driver all season. That's why he's top 10 coming into the championship round.
He doesn't have a lot of fancy positions in the races. He keeps it calm. He keeps it simple, stupid. He finished 7th the last race. He's now 5th now. He's making it fantastic. If he stays there, he starts about the same place. He will finish this race. And all he has to do is just keep 4 tires on the tarmac, on the asphalt. And all he has to do is just do that with some fantastic driving. I was trying to look to see if there was a battle for the transfer spot, that important for pole position in P8 here. At the moment, McGoldrick is just starting to pull away from Hederman, but he has to keep his eyes on that car in behind.
A classic British racing helmet there for Chris Knox. It may have his name on him, but it also is that helmet that the Hills used, both Graham and Damon, and he makes the pass at Rich's corner, but watch out for Keith Dempsey. Jason Smith, by the way, the fastest lap, 2 tires in the grass for Knox, will say, no, knock. You're going to have to keep waiting to get yourself through the front door. He was a cold caller. He couldn't quite find a way to get through. McClements, the social Dempsey just behind, starts to get through, and wake up to Jason Smith in 9th place. He started 26th, and he's got the fastest lap. He could be in the mix for 8th place if Ronan Hederman can't stay into play. Dempsey down the inside of De Sosua, racing for 5th place, stealing it away.
Well, actually, Jason Smith is now in 8th place because Sean
he is?
McGoldrick overshot the corner at Rich's. He was looking for the Rich's, and unfortunately, he ended up skint after what happened there. He is now fighting back in 10th position, but Smith is battling. He's having to keep off Yamamoto, and all of a sudden, he has to start pulling away. And if you're Jason Smith, your pace will probably send you to the likes of Hederman, but I think with 4.5 minutes to go and about 3 laps maybe left, 2 laps maybe, I think he might be happy to just stay in 8th position.
Here comes Ronan Hederman then, looking to go down the inside of De Sosua. Thank you very much. He takes the place away and says, that is what I want. And he manages to just hold on to it through that section. I wonder if we can actually take a look at what happened to Sean McGoldrick there, as Sean McClements now thinks about getting through in the Team DDR car to try and find the pass. Isn't going to happen through Coram Corner. You're going to have to follow really, really closely to make that happen. And on the brakes through Murray's, opening up the exit, Peter Dempsey really was trying to get away, was trying to get on the power as much as possible. Little 2-car tandem throughout the field at this stage, and these little tandems are going to have to try and work a bit of side-by-side into turn 1, up and under Chris Knox. Oh my goodness me, just in the foreground, Chris Knox with a great pass to move up into what is 2nd position at that point in time. McClements still holding on here, trying to deal with Peter Dempsey.
Yeah, but he's got to be careful because now Chris Knox has got P2. Who's now P3? Keith Dempsey. We said it last week. We said it the first week. You cannot do anything when the Dempseys are together. Yes, there's 2 seconds between them, but you've got to start to think that Pete and Keith will start to go for it. But here they go. They're battling yet again. This is a fantastic little battle between Keith and Chris.
And there's some great respect here between Keith Dempsey and Chris Knox as they fly through Hamilton Corner, looking now for Oggies. A little think about it. Hamilton helmet, Hamilton Corner, now through the Oggies. And now how do you attack Williams to head on to the Bentley Straight and make the most of what you can do around this section of circuit? They'll be rushing towards the Martin Brundle Corner. Why so? Because he was from Kings Lynn, not a million miles away here from Snetterton. Big defence to the inside, and in the wall they go almost, and there's more contact. Can they hold it together through Brundle Corner? I tell you what, no! Dempsey's going to go around. Chris Knox somehow avoids it.
I'll tell you what, that was heads-up driving from Chris Knox to avoid that. And Dempsey, he's trying to move the car, and that's very crucial because Canto and McGoldrick have to go split them to try and get by. Fantastic driving from Chris Knox as he manages to avoid that. That now gives Sean McGoldrick that important P8 again. Jason Smith must have wanted that so much. He's not going to get it, but we've still got 1 or 2 laps left to go. I think it's going to be 2 just. But Jordan Kelly, he is constantly putting purples in. He's all alone at the moment, but this all of a sudden has just turned very interesting and up on its own head.
I'd take a P8 over a I'll take a P7, over a P8. The reason why, points, you get more points. And that's always the goal at the end of a championship run. Get the points there. Keith Dempsey currently flying about into turn 1, down in 12th. We'll have a lot of work to do in race 3 to gather that all back. David Yamamoto down the inside, making the pass on Isaac Kanto to get himself the place. And Isaac now is going to have to be patient, try and gather that back up. A lot of blinking there from Brandon McGogan there in the number 69 car. That will be a cause of concern for drivers there as Ronan Hedeman almost pushing his way through there with Lawrence de Sosa. We've been trying to find replays for laps. There's just been so much action, we haven't been able to find any space to make a replay.
How can you take your eyes off this race? I usually say, where do you look? There's nowhere to look at the moment. Fantastic battling all around the field. McClements and Hedeman having a nice, Hedeman and de Sosa having this fantastic little battle at the moment as Hedeman almost goes a little bit too wide out of Williams down the Bentley straight. Should be able to hold off de Sosa here, and you can start to see that it also brings Jason Smith into the occasion. Is there going to be a late move from Lawrence? Decides against it. Will he get the momentum? As I believe Jordan Kelly is a few corners away from making a second win. I might be right here. 3 out of 3.
Well, he's actually just going to be close. I think he might just be clicking over one extra lap. Look at the clock, 10 seconds on the clock. I think Barney's going to be pulling out a white flag, not a checkered one. He'll cross the line with, get this, 2 seconds on the clock. So there will be one more lap around this circuit in this race. Some drivers might be a little bit too close on fuel because of that. Race is on right now, side by side. De Sosa will see Jason Smith fly at the inside. He almost took 2. Very nearly grabs the rear right of Ronan Hedeman. That could have been disaster. Pretty much immediately on the brakes they go. It's on as well for second.
This is a great little battle here for the rest of the bottom of the field. Jason Smith's made up 20 positions so far this race, and you've got to keep your eyes forward as well. Is he going to look for 21? Do you want to play 21? I'm pretty sure he does. He's trying to do this. Hedeman doing as much defending as he can. Jason Smith's going to try around the outside. We'll probably get this going as we've still got the battles going. The exit has just been closed for him, though.
Heads up there from Ronan Hedeman, pushing out wide Jason Smith, deciding I own this bit of circuit, and Jason Smith looked for the inside. It was covered all the way. Ronan Hedeman is defending for his life, but that can only be for so long. Door is open at Williams' corner. Thank you very and much. He is through. Knox and Dempsey will continue their scrap out there on circuit, but that gap's opened up a little bit. You can see that there in the foreground. We will stay with this battle going on. Just behind that, 8th place is currently Sean McGoldrick. He's holding on. Here comes the look once again then to the inside. It is Jason Smith. He's got what he wants. But to Jordan Kelly we must go, because there is a worrying trend going on in this series. You win race 1, you win race 2. You win race 2, you might as well win race 3. Jordan Kelly, 2 from 2 for the 3rd straight series race. It is a driver getting 2 in a row as they go through. Another win by 8 seconds. Dempsey's going to throw everything at it on a throw to the line. Chris Knox will hold that by half a 10.
Yeah, 0.46 as the rest of the cars come by. Jason Smith will make that P5. Hedeman will take 6. De Sosa actually started 7th and finished 7th. And Sean McGoldrick, he is going to buy himself a lottery ticket. He gets that 8th position. It did not look like it at some point, and he somehow salvages an 8th. He'll be pole for the final race.
He will be on pole position for that final race. Pole has probably been the safest place all day long. Let's take a look, though, at how they finished off then in this one. Jordan Kelly, once again with a victory, causing an extra lap to go through. He wins by 8.3 this time over Chris Knox, with Peter Dempsey in 3rd and Sean McClements in 4th. Jason Smith, get this, it's an 11-minute race, and he gained 21 places during it. He was on a rocket ship up into 5th position, with Ronan Hedeman in 6th, Lawrence de Sosa finishing in 7th, and Sean McGoldrick in 8th. It would be Isaac Kanto in 9th, and Keith Dempsey who would be rounding out the top 10 for a lot of drivers down there. Austin Puhaka, maybe Hunter McElrea, maybe Jason Cooper. You can argue here, Craig, that this is a drop round, and what a place to have one. So early in the season, we consider halfway is next round.
You gotta think, Aussie did not turn up to the first race, so did a couple of the other drivers. They cannot afford drop rounds here, so they're gonna have to try and get as many points as they can in this final race. But you can just see, just a couple mistakes in that first race, and all of a sudden you're at the back of the field, and you are having to fight. And when you're at the back of the field, it happens in any type of motorsport. Anything can happen, and that one accidental mistake by Tony Stack there, I hate to use the pun again, Jake, he did stack the whole field up, and that has just caused carnage in the backfield.
There is one driver, though, who hasn't had to deal with carnage today. That is Jordan Kelly, who joins us right now here in the commentary box. Jordan, number 99, you've been driving at absolutely 100%. 2 victories over 8 seconds in terms of distance. Everyone's just been fighting behind you. How plain sailing has it been for you out in front?
Yeah, well, I was top at the start of the first race. Now, I can't be more than happy with the 2 wins, but it came from fighting behind. But yeah, I was unlucky. Jason had damage in the first race, and then he accidentally run at the back of me a bit, dropped back, and then he got caught up and was defending. So that gave me the break to get away. So it's definitely good to get the 2 wins now. Hopefully, we'll try and get the next race good too.
So 2 wins out of 2. We have seen over the course of this season, the driver who takes the victory in race 1 and the victory in race 2 also just so happens to take the victory in race 3. You look at the group that's around you, though, and you've got some very accomplished drivers in front of you. Chris Knox, Peter Dempsey, Jason Smith, they're all there. So you look at drivers who have been very aggressive, trying to get up to those positions. Are you looking at this as, I'm going to have to be very careful in this 8th place because there's been so much drama behind you? Or are you looking at this as, you know what, I can afford to be aggressive right now because there are drivers in and around me not having good races compared to where I need to be in the championship, so I need to go and get as many points as I can?
Yeah, I think it's just it's a lot. 20 months is a long race, so I think it's just a matter of getting the head down, doing sensible passes, just hoping I think Jason's starting ahead of me, so just hoping Jason doesn't get too far ahead, and we'll try and catch him up. But it's going to be a tough task for Jason starting ahead. Jason is quick, and he's a fairly aggressive driver too. But it's a good championship now.
It is a good championship. It's a strong championship, and we've seen that so far. Before we let you go, though, Jordan, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Just the lads at RTA and everything for running the league, because I'm actually racing in the British Formula 4 Championship as well. So this is our actually next race in 3 weeks' time. So it's good. It's going to be good practice running alongside the official calendar for the year. Get a bit of practice in.
Well, that is as good an excuse as any to say after the racing, come by one of the villages. I will make sure that you can come and have a drink with me because I'm not too far away from there. So Jordan Kelly there joining us out there overall and getting 2 out of 2 so far in this racing. We're about 1:40 away from gridding happening for this 3rd and final race. We double the distance from 10 minutes to 20 minutes. You invert the top 8. And we have noticed that it has been a very aggressive style of racing here at Snetterton to start things off. Unusually aggressive with the way that these drivers have been going about it, because they know that there is so much that they need to do in the time that they have, Craig. Do they need to just take a break for the first 2 laps and then come at it and attack fresh at lap 3?
I think it is going to have to be a little bit of patience now. Treat it like it's the 15-minute race that started the night and just have those 5 minutes to just take it easy. What happened to a lot of those incidents we saw in the first two races? It is somebody getting a bad start. And you get a bad start, where do you go? You have to take it free wide. If you don't, you start to slow up. If you slow down, you pack everybody else behind you. So sometimes you have to go where the momentum is. And at the very last moment, somebody get that corner free wide. And that has caused some of the issues here tonight. Let's look at Chris Knox as well. Managed to go in the first race 10-2. Thanks a lot to a couple free wides. He started the race because of a good start, catching other drivers off. And then, of course, he had his bad start in the second race. And that kind of, as you saw, concertinaed everybody up.
And if you get it wrong very quickly, Craig, just before we go to the grid, you know, this is a very rural-style circuit. You go off at turn one, you miss the barriers, you're in a field of wheat.
I mean, that's home for me. That's home. Let's go to the countryside. That's where I'd be going. I'll be missing the corners going straight over there, but that's not where they want to go. And thanks to the long runoffs here, the old school grass long runoffs here, you can sometimes save these cars. So that is what they'll be looking for, because at the end of the day, points do mean prizes. Even if you make one mistake, you've got time to recover here, but even not, you've got to try and salvage whatever points you can.
Points mean prizes, but there is no Brucey bonus. Sean McGoldrick then in control. Lawrence de Sosua alongside for company on the front row. It's then Ronan Hederman, who has had a really fantastic run here tonight with Jason Smith in fourth, Sean McClements and Peter Dempsey on row 3, Chris Knox and number 99, Jordan Kelly in 8th position. Isaac Canto and Keith Dempsey will round out the top 10 of the grid. It's just a 1-minute grid, so they're going to get into position pretty quickly. Jason Cooper, by the way, had to deal with connection issues during the 5-minute warm-up. He's back on the grid. He'll start from 14th. Keep an eye out on him over the course of this race. The 7-up car of Sean McGoldrick then has control of the field. Sosua will be there for company, but the quick drivers are looking for ways through early. Lights then are on, lights then are out. We are green here at Snetterton, just like most of Snetterton is actually, when you look at it as a profile. They all funnel single file. Jason Smith with a big power move to the pit lane, trying to make the pass already up into third. He takes advantage and takes his way through. Top 2 nice and clear, but they're sliding about the third onward. And another incident at the back, and it involves Magoogan.
Yeah, Magoogan and Gandor get together. I think Gandor had a little bit of a slide onto the grass, and it's all bunched up there as the back of the field go around Montreal, but the front of the field going almost free wide. We've got another car going off, and it is Jordan Kelly is off.
3 wide at Palmer Corner does not work, and Jordan Kelly has the hoodoo broken as he goes through, down to dead last. Look at Jason Smith on this opening lap. He looks for the move on Lawrence de Sosua at Hamilton Corner. He has the race lead. He's gone from 4th to 1st in about 5 corners. He is on a rocket ship, and he is going to wait for nobody at this stage. And you know what? He might even make it to Mars before Elon Musk does.
I think at the moment he is now in cruise control. Who is the only person that's going to try and catch him right now? Peter Dempsey, but he's a second behind. He has to try and work this out as we start to see more cars going off in the background as they come around Williams. What is going on?
Dramas, and again, I think it was Jamal Gandor for a second time who got caught up in it. So that was Gandor into the back of someone, and then it just continued on, a chain reaction on this opening lap. So dramas always finding themselves not a million miles away here. Keith Dempsey on the inside looking now to try and hold on. Look at the wiggling there. Can you hold it on the brakes? No, straight on, no.
Sean McClements makes the mistake there, holds on. Did they interlock? They did indeed, but he had time to hit the brakes, and there was no chance of hitting the brakes, and I think he managed to get himself away from everybody else. He decided to be the sacrificial lamb in that battle, but these drivers are not being sacrificial at the moment. You've got people still trying to make moves up. Jason Cooper has made 7 places up in the first lap on its own. He's already into P7. Keep an eye out for him. He's only 3.5 seconds behind Jason Smith.
Yeah, he is not a million miles away, and he certainly has the pace to go out there and challenge those drivers at the front. But crucially here, Sean McGoldrick in third. Jason Smith is trying to break the toe as much as he can. He's not quite getting the breakaway that he wants. This is the sort of race where it's going away early, and I mean early in terms of this, but you do have an ability to follow around in the wheel tracks. This is really helping drivers like Peter Dempsey in this race, who do have a turn of cadence, who can go out there and challenge Jason Smith for this victory. And you look at where he is in 4th place. He's trying to open up this corner as much as he can, get right on it. Oh, he opens it up a bit too much there. Finds out what the dirt on the outside is all about.
So, oh my word, we've had an accident in the backfield with O'Shea. Was that O'Shea going round? We did not see who that was. I was just about to talk about them because they, alongside with Aussie, just made a 3 wide Oggies. You are not hearing me wrong there. And unfortunately, coming around Williams, they all come together. And it does turn out that Aussie Pahaka does take those positions as he's making his way up. Some of these drivers we expected to be in the battle at the start of the race are making their way through, just like this 3-car battle at the front of the field. Is this holding them up as Jason Smith starts to pull away?
It is. And the reason why is they start to think about 2 wide at Nelson's corner. And the Admiral Nelson will know that if you want to throw a blockade in, that's the one place you want to be chock-a-block. Dempsey to the inside then. Thank you very much. Will comfortably take the move. Will move up then into 3rd position. Just behind that, Jason Cooper gets through on Ronan Hedeman. That's a pass for 6th place. So they are starting to really move about here, and they know how important those points are. No more so than Jason Smith, who, remember, needs every point he can get his hands on with the poor start in race 1, dropping all the way back to 26th position, and the fact that he's used his drop round in the opening round not being here.
Yeah, he is making up time that he needs. And we start to see Peter Dempsey with a little bit of a throw in there and sliding it around. Does McGoldrick hold on to this? He cannot. He's going to have to try and do it around the outside of Hamilton. Is not possible. What does this do? Brings Chris Knox into play. What does that do? It brings Jason Cooper in. A mistake from McGoldrick there allows Chris Knox, almost allowed Jason Cooper. Cooper cannot afford to lose time with the rest of these drivers.
No, they can't, but they do have time on their side. They still have 14 minutes to figure out what they want to do. This group second on back now are going to have to be very patient here. You can see everywhere you look. Now Hunter McElroy is making some great positions. The Indy Next driver is going to say, I'm next at the inside. Thank you very much. That is an easy pass there at Brundle Corner. And just behind, or just in front of that, there's Keith Dempsey finding himself in a race. He's just got through on Ronan Hedeman. So Hedeman, going backwards on this lap, has dropped 2 places overall. And you can't blame him. If you lose an overtake in 2 in 1 lap, the 2 names that you probably put on that list are Keith Dempsey and Jason Cooper, 2 incredibly quick drivers.
Yeah, Cooper had a really good Murray's, and you could see he was attacking it so much so he was using the sausage curve on the inside, but he's going to have a little bit of a nose forward as they come to Riches, and he'll get past Sean McGoldrick around the outside. He now starts to pull in. The fastest lap by Jason Smith, a 157.8. Yes, Jason Cooper did a 158.5, and you start to see a massive dive from Keith Dempsey on the late apex there, and side by side he'll go with McGoldrick. That was something we weren't expecting, but textbook send.
As we saw Peter Dempsey, so both Dempseys making moves. It was Peter Dempsey through. Oh, there goes Chris Knox. There goes Chris Knox. Round he goes. The School of Hard Knocks. Bang! Into the Armco he goes. Backing it on in. How is the rear suspension looking? Is he in trouble in the number 23 machine? He's got away with it. No, he hasn't. Black and orange mechanical flag comes out for him. His car is toast. He'll need to come back to the pits to get it repaired. And just like that, the Lego car disintegrates into its base pieces.
Yep, I think we're going to have to rebuild it. Has anyone got the instruction manual there? Because I can't find the little cog that goes in the middle, and that's going to be a horror there for Chris Knox, but it does allow more drivers to get forward, and it also opens up this lead pack now. All of a sudden, Jason Cooper's got clean air. He's now looking at a P4, trying to push on. So is the likes there of Dempsey, McGoldrick, side by side they will go. Dempsey gets another position. That's Keith Dempsey, and where Keith Dempsey is, sometimes Peter Dempsey is nearby, and he's having his own battle with Lawrence de Souza.
Yeah, that's for second position at this point. Sean McGoldrick crossing the beams there with Keith Dempsey, trying to keep him at bay, but Keith is not saying no. He wants to move up, and 5th place he sees, of course, Jason Cooper 4th. He wants to get up, of course, to Peter Dempsey. He wants to get up to Lawrence de Sosa, who is having a fantastic race 3 once again out there overall. Gap at the front, 3 seconds as the fastest lap is set by Jason Smith, a 57.748 at that point, flying through the opening corner, and I think you're going to need a magnifying glass to work out what that is. Chris Knox, as expected, down into the pit lane to get his car repaired. The worst thing for him, well, actually the good thing for him, there is no limit to the amount of fast repairs you can take, so if he damages the car like that, he can easily be back out and racing again. There is David Yamamoto in 10th place.
Yeah, Yamamoto making a few positions up himself. He's got Isaac Canto, which we haven't talked a lot about, but Canto went 17th to 28th, 28th to 9th in the last 2 races, and a quiet P9 there is still a very good P9, but he is on a 3-car battle right now as David Yamamoto and Peter McCann is right behind him. Keep your eyes out though, because Ozzy Pahaka is right behind them, a few seconds back. He's making charges, so is Hunter McElroy. These drivers we said to keep an eye on are making those moves, but they're just not making them quick enough.
Has anyone told Jordan Kelly to stop making moves? Oh, you can't get much closer on the outside there. That was very nearly disaster for Isaac Canto, who found himself sliding about, and that nearly put Peter McCann and David Yamamoto's races in trouble. Yamamoto now on the front of this group. How close do you want to be through Brundle Corner? On the brakes then through Nelson, and they find themselves back into station as they go through the bomb hole corner, because an old bomb managed to fall on that during the Second World War, created a lovely crater, and apparently that lovely crater creates such a unique corner for racing.
Yeah, let's make a high-speed, flowing, long right-hander. But you know what? Let's add a little nick to it there. Little notch. That little dip, fantastic. It changes any car around here. Whether it's a Formula car, a prototype car, whether it's a sports car, it does not matter. It doesn't even matter what Peter McCann wants to do. He's going to go side by side with Yamamoto. He's going to take that. Isaac Canto right behind, going full lock the other way, saving that car. Beautiful little save there. McCann goes up to 9th position. Canto's going to send it.
He is, and I don't think he meant it. And he's going to give him a little tap on the outside to say, I didn't quite mean that, but I'm going to take everything I've got. Now Jason Cooper opens it up out of Palmer here, down to Agostini at turn 4. Lawrence de Sosa leaves the door wide open. He'll try and attack back off of the exit, but Jason Cooper planted through the middle of the corner as that car sat down fantastically. Number 35 is now up into 3rd place, and these are valuable points on what has been a disappointing night for Jason so far.
But with 9 minutes left, he's only 3.5 seconds behind Jason Smith, and he took 6/10 out of him last lap. And now he's got a little bit of slipstream, and he had a simple overtake there on De Sosa. You would start to think that maybe he will be able to get past Peter Dempsey, and then the question is, can he make that time up? 3 seconds doesn't sound a lot, but when you've only got 5 laps left to do it in, that is the challenge, because it won't be 5 laps very soon. When Smith crosses the line in a few seconds, it's going to be 4 laps left, I believe. And actually, no, it will be 5, sorry, I apologize. That's still not a lot of time to try and overturn 3.5 seconds.
Look, there is a difference between being quick and not being quick enough. The difference is Jason Cooper's in the slipstream. You got Jason Smith out there. He's on his own trying to turn that pace. Where if Jason Cooper gets by Peter Dempsey, does he have enough pace on his own to chase that gap down? I don't think he does. And I think it'll be very telling of Jason Cooper in terms of the way he's gone. Jason Smith has checked out to 3 seconds, and he knows that you've got to be within 1.5 to have any sniff of slipstream when it comes to the back stretch around this circuit. And to that point, the centre straight on the front. So that could be something to go through. I think now's as poignant as ever. Of course, 29 years yesterday, the issue that came about losing the life of the legendary Ayrton Senna. But Isaac Canto finding trouble at the Richards corner. He finds himself riddled in debt.
Yeah, unfortunately, Yamamoto just went a little bit too wide and lost the car. trying to get on the throttle, and I think another car went with him. That was Isaac Canto. I've cursed Isaac Canto there, as unfortunately he's had to lose positions there as he had nowhere to go. But Jordan Kelly's got places to go. He makes a position up himself. And meanwhile, at the front, Jason Cooper is still holding on. He was faster last lap, even with the slipstream with Peter Dempsey. Can he hold on to that speed as they come around Williams onto the Bentley straight? He's too far away, I feel, to make a move into Brundle. But they are catching, you know.
They are. Slowly but surely, and I'm not sure it's quick enough. Do they need to trade in tandem? Here comes Jason Cooper, looking to the inside at Brundle. They have to go around the outside of Nelson's corner, and he's not going to get that because he was balked every stage of the way there by one Mr. Peter Dempsey. No arguments about it between them. Jason Cooper knew that if he didn't get himself through, or at least to alongside, if not a tyre in front, he didn't have a hope of in terms of making that overtake. He has to be more patient. He has to wait for the perfect opportunity if he wants to get through. These drivers right now, with 6 minutes, 10 seconds to go, no doubt about it, they're racing for second.
Yeah, they're racing for second now. That mistake there, and that held up with those two fighting. Personally, the wrong corner might have just hindered them here. And I think Cooper realizes that let's use the corner to set up an overtake. He's not going to try and send it into Riches. He's going to use Montreal if he wants to for this move. He decides against it. Has he conceded the victory here? I think he might just be looking at this P2 now, but he still can't get the line he wants. I would have thought out of Riches he would have been able to go for a move, but Peter Dempsey isn't somebody that is just going to be caught sleeping on a little send at a hairpin.
No, that is very true. Peter Dempsey is alert to what moves can come about. Not going to happen here at Agostini unless you run half a car width wide, which opens the door up there for one Mr. Jason Cooper, who's trying to find himself a way through. He's not going to be there just yet. On the power then through Hamilton and into Oggie's corner, searching for just enough rotation through that section of track to try and get through, to try and open up, to try and say, you know what, I've got drive off the exit of this corner. He's got enough drive to make that alongside. He was closer than he was last lap. Number 35 gets a good run. Here comes Jason to the inside, and you can press X to Jason as much as you like. He's now going to get this move sorted here. He is 2/3 of the way clear by the time they reach the braking point, and he is through into second from 14th on the grid.
You know what? Watching that was so crucial. Just to see the experience of driving this car and the experience of driving this track. Jason really opening the corners up, using all the inside curve, using every bit of the track that allows you to without getting a course-cutting penalty. And he's been able to use that to his advantage in those middle sections, taking a wider line into Hamilton, using all the inside for Oggies, and then setting himself up with a great run at Williams. That was textbook how to drive a car. But now you've got to learn how to defend a car. But Peter Dempsey decides it's not worth it. And in the background, that's another battle happening with Keith Dempsey and Lawrence de Souza.
Yeah, Keith Dempsey now thinking about fourth place, the championship leader, dropping points as it stands to Peter Dempsey, whose run today has been great. He's currently got 2 podiums to his name. Dempsey actually might even out the points the way it's stacked. So there is Keith. You've got Sean McGoldrick there. Let's take a look there at the replay because something has happened here in towards turn 1. That is Jordan Kelly trying to find a way through. Oh, sorry, no, that is Yamamoto and Kanto's instant that goes through. Look at this for synchronization. Get the judges out, and I'm sure the points are there.
7! That's a little tribute to Len, and that is exactly what you want to not see. But at the end of the day, sometimes you've got to take a little bit of humor when racing, and a tandem spin there, and you can see both drivers were just losing it at the right time. And what's happened here, that move's going on as well. That's a yellow classic car trying to get some positions.
That is Peter McCann finding out that he has spent most of today off the road more rather than on it. Bruno Walraven also looking to try and find himself in a bit of a battle right now because that is Rory O'Shea who has made the pass on him on this lap. O'Shea up 14 now into 12th place. Now, do you remember when Jordan Kelly was last at about turn 3? He's 9th. How?
Because it's Jordan Kelly. What a drive. You know, he says that he is getting ready to drive this track later this year. I saw that he didn't get a lot of damage. He didn't have to come into the pits to take a fast repair. He managed to keep that car going, and he has driven this car off its wheels. And he's done so well. If this was a reverse race, we'd be talking about this right now, battling for the pole position.
Keith Dempsey to the inside of Lawrence de Sosua and moves up into 4th position with 2 laps to go here at Snetterton. A very important move in the context of this championship. McGoldrick will try and follow here in the inside of the Wilson corner, and he can't quite get there. And as such, Lawrence de Sosua is going to hold station. The way that de Sosua's been driving this race has been really clever here right now, Craig, because he's known who to race and who not to race.
Smart driving. Jason Cooper right behind you. Nope, just take it. I'm fine with that. You've got one of the Dempseys right there. I'm fine. Look, I've just made a mistake. There's Sean McGoldrick. I'm not going to be battling this so hard, but I do have my nose right where I want it to be, and he's going to fight this here side by side through Hamilton, holds that position. He picks his battles well, and he picks his trust well. He trusts the drivers, and he holds on after a small mistake there to keep that P5. That could be a very crucial P5 in the championship. That is steadiness, and steadiness could win him prizes.
Steadiness could definitely take him far in terms of this race, and it will continue on as they will soon reach that final lap. Another little think, another little look, and it's not quite there. You could have just seen there in the back of shot, one Jason Smith out there in front. McGoldrick can't find the move at the Nelson's corner. 2nd and 3rd still to be decided out here in this race. So too 5th and 6th. Peter Dempsey does not know the word quit. It's not in his dictionary. He tore out the page, he ate it. Now, as he gets a big wiggle coming out then of Murray's corner. He's got 1 lap here, Craig, to find 2nd position overall. Jason Smith is gone. He doesn't want it to be the Jasons 1 and 2.
This is 2 minutes to the end of the race. What can he find? A little squirrel there going a bit too hot into Murray's. Is he going to slide to the side here? He goes for the late braking. Has he overcooked it? I think he's overcooked it, but he'll get the inside as they come into Palmer and manages to cut off Jason Cooper. A little mistake there going too hot. He's made it work.
Ooh, they're getting close. All of a sudden then through Palmer corner, they will start to get themselves into play. Watch out for the top 5 as well. Hunter McElroy joins the fray behind. So now that's a 3-car battle. How has Hunter found himself there? He's been very quiet in getting his places, but Peter Dempsey holds that station at the moment. Hamilton corner, he goes in the George Russell helmet. Now over towards Oggies. He's got to open up this corner as much as he can, and he is so neat on that inside, taking all of the curb he needs. Little bit too much there, you could argue, on the exit. Jason Cooper throwing the car through the corner, trying to get a run, and he does so. Now here comes the chance. Which way do you want to go? Left or right? Left or right? Stays in the middle of the road. Jason Cooper commits then to the outside to try and get this done. They almost interlock wheels as they rush through. They go under the entrance bridge to the circuit. Brilliant fighting between them. Oh, Peter. That is brilliant, but it's not done just yet. They go through the bomb hole, searching still. There's a chance at Murray's. But Jason Smith, who is at the front, no doubts about it. He will break the 3 peats that have been going on as he will take his 4th race win of the season with victory here at Snetterton. Behind through the final corner, it is Peter Dempsey who will hold on to station and will take the 2nd. But what a drive by Jason Smith. And it will be a case here of who can pick up the pieces from an absolute bull in a china shop 3 races here from Snetterton.
This has been a fantastic final lap as we're just watching any last positional changes, and there isn't at the moment. Sosua holds on to a very good P6. McElroy goes up to 7th, but Hacker makes up 12 positions for 10th. Rory O'Shea 14th position, but we have to talk about Car 99, who started 8th, finished 8th, and you would say a pretty boring race for you then, Jordan Kelly. Nope. What a drive there by Jordan Kelly. That is an underrated drive.
It is a very underrated drive. has proven just how good he is out there overall. We're going to step aside, though, for just one moment here with the Global Sim Racing Channel. When we come back, it will be post-race coverage from this series. And on top of that, we'll run through results, chat to a couple drivers, and get a bit of understanding of what comes next in the championship. Rod Stewart probably has the great song that symbolizes the three races. It's handbags and the glad rags that we've had here today. Everyone's thrown everything at it. There'll be some friends, there will be some not very friends, and I'm sure some Christmas cards will be exchanged at some point. It was Jason Smith, though, who was able to break through what has been a case of locking out wins over the course of this season. His fourth win of the season is enough to win by 5.2 over Peter Dempsey, whose last lap move over Jason Cooper was enough to hold on to station. Keith Dempsey would finish off in fourth, the championship leader again, limiting the damage over the course of tonight, with Sean McGoldrick finishing fifth and Lawrence de Sosua in sixth position. Hunter McElroy would make great charges, the Indy Next driver moving up to seventh, and then the Formula 4 driver, or the British Formula 4 driver, Jordan Kelly, started eighth, was demoted to the back of the field after 3 corners, but still found a way to finish in that 8th place. Ronan Hederman would be 9th, and Ossian Puhaka, who'd had a middling day by his standards, would round out the top 10.
We get to the second page. Rory O'Shea will be 12th, but Peter McCann will finish 11th as well. We get back there. Bruno Wallraven goes up to 13th position, and Isaac Canto had a really quiet race, and unfortunately a small mistake takes him to 14th. Tony Stack recovers all the way to 15th position, and Chan Weifeng will take 16th, and 17th will be David Yamamoto, with Barrow Hodson making 18th, and then Chris Knox, what could have been, unfortunately, finishes in 19th, with Sean McClements as well going to 20th.
It didn't help that Chris Knox's car was made out of Lego, let's put it that way. Ben McCluffrey would finish off in 21st, and the last two finishers on the lead lap were Dave Collier and Jamal Gandor, who were both there and had tough races respectively. 2 laps down would be Andrew Murphy, and the retirees would include Gary Corcoran, John McDonald, Brandon McGogan, and then Ian May and Johnny McMullen, both finding troubles out there over the course of the racing today. And crucially enough, May and McMullen would not start the last 2 races that went on here. But what we do have, though, is the chance to talk to some drivers. There is no better place to start than with Jason Smith, who will be talking with Craig King as he walks down the virtual paddock.
Yep, just getting to Jason Smith, and he's right here. Jason, you have broken the duck. There is no three-peat racer for the first time this season. How does it feel to get a victory? I know it's just one victory, but it's the feature race.
Yeah, in the feature race, there's such a long race. You have to be so careful in the first few laps so you don't hit people, you don't get damaged, and just think about the long run to the end.
Yeah, you say, let's think about not getting damaged. You started 4th in the first race, and you went all the way down to 26th position after an accident there. Then you had to fight your way back up 26th to 5th. So talk me through what your feelings were in that second race, because 10 minutes to go 21 places in 10 minutes is very, very impressive. I know it's a little bit chaotic, but that had to be a battle where you weren't expecting to get a P5.
Yeah, no, not at all. I was just trying to find my way through all the carnage. There was cars everywhere, and it was the first incident, and I slowed down, and I said, "There's a gap there," and I went on the throttle, and then I just got clipped last minute when it was just through, and then it was just a matter of getting back, and I think I was like 13th or 14th on the first lap, so many people crashed out, and then it was just a matter of getting my head down and passing everybody, and then looking forward to the third race.
Yeah, and the third race, you got your head down. You were starting to point the car where it needed to be, getting positioned so quickly in the race, taking that lead so early. But you did have a little bit of a threat in the background, Peter Dempsey and Jason Cooper. Was that always on the back of your mind, or were you just so focused forward to keeping ahead?
Yeah, no, it was a bit of both, because I seen Peter broke away from Lawrence and everything, and I was like, I better not do any mistakes here, just keep a constant pace. And then I seen Jason coming up to Peter, and I was looking, and I was just saying to myself, you better not do any mistakes and just keep it on the road.
Yeah. So of course that victory gives you the momentum. Donington next week. Not my favorite, the layout. It's the Grand Prix layout. That's a bias by myself. Are you looking forward to a little bit of Donington action on the sim?
Yeah, Donington's a great track, I think, but probably be a bit of a toe fest as well, with all the elevation changes coming out of the old hairpin and everything. The toe will be very powerful and hard to get away.
Yeah, looking forward to that as well. Any shout outs before we let you go on this evening, Jason?
Just a big thanks to RTA again, producing such a great championship, and you can see by all the racing that it's just monumental. Like, all the racing is just great crack.
Well, thank you very much, Jason. It was great seeing you again. That was our feature race winner for the night, Jason Smith. Good luck and go well for the next race, Jason. But Jake, I have finished with Jason, and I believe we have finished for the evening.
I believe we have an incredible evening's worth of racing. Hectic, chaotic, everybody throwing everything at the wall, seeing what sticks. And I tell you what, Snetterton has proven to be a great battleground. Want to give a massive thanks to the team who has been here alongside me, Jake Sperry, here today, from Craig King, Daniel Costello, and Dougie Beard. You can also keep an eye on all of our social media, and a massive thanks to all of the partners who helped get it done for us. Want to give a big thank you as well to June Lalonde. Her music is fantastic. You can catch her stuff on Bandcamp and on Spotify. In terms of some upcoming events, of course, next week is Donington Park for us, but there is so much more great sim racing that comes along through. That is running through on your tickets, including the likes of the Major Series Atlantic region, which has itself an incredible race coming up on the horizon. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, which might not be very long, but in our series, it'll be 1 week as it goes through. Race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.
Yeah.